Привет. Давайте посмотрим еще одно видео. На этот раз это Death Stranding 2 от IGN. Они поиграли немного, они наиграли 30 часов, и это их типа превью. Мне интересно, я уже предзаказал Deluxe Edition, или какой там Collector's Edition, как так называется, по-моему. Этой игры я ее жду не дождусь. Вау, давайте смотреть.
Nearly 6 years after the release of director Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding, we finally played the sequel, Death Stranding 2, on the beach. While what we've played was not the final version of the game, the playable portions demonstrated a density and completeness you would expect from a final product. Fundamental elements such as movement, dialogue, and presentation are highly integrated, and the intention to expand upon the experience that the
Большой
first
город
game
был.
delivered, no pun intended, was evident throughout. 2019's Death Stranding transcended the framework of ordinary video games by metaphorically depicting cosmology and even anthropology through the act of delivery. It was a game that challenged the idea of human connection through refreshing gameplay mechanics that fundamentally re-examined the very act of movement. To me, Death Stranding was an undeniable masterpiece that delivered a viscous flow of concepts. Now that I've played its sequel for more than 30 hours, I'm starting to realize that it may have been only the beginning. Death Stranding 2 on the beach can be seen as an attempt to take the premises of the first game to the next level. While taking the player on a journey across the border of the United States of America, its symbolic depiction of connection feels more dynamic, yet less certain than its predecessor. What questions will this new journey of legendary delivery man Sam Porter Bridges bring, and how will they be answered? In the first game, Sam reconstructed connections between people while uncovering the truth behind Death Stranding, a mysterious phenomenon that caused disconnection between cities. Through Sam's journey of delivering supplies, players experienced movement in a way video games had not offered before, while the story gradually unfolded its views on life, death, and cosmological visions. The setting of Death Stranding 2 moves from the rebuilt UCA to the Mexican border region. The photorealistic graphics that meticulously depict Mexico's desolate land are nothing short of impressive. From the texture of the dried surface to faintly rippling sand dust and rocky mountains in the distance, the game's visuals drew me in right away. Photorealistic modeling and subtle facial expressions of characters have also largely improved from the first game, and the art style creates an aesthetic that transcends mere realism, forming a powerful foundation supporting the game's surrealistic worldview and story. The part that plays in Mexico functions more or less like a tutorial, not just in terms of gameplay but also story and settings. While the first game overwhelmed players with numerous terms and settings in its early hours, Death Stranding 2 is conscious of being accessible even without prior knowledge. The game also offers a recap mode in novel style, as well as a glossary function called Corpus, showing careful consideration for players who have not played the first game, or those who did but found it too complicated.
То есть помимо Мексики там еще несколько стран получается.
I feel that the game design of Hideo Kojima's work often comes in 3 layers. For example, Metal Gear series gameplay consists of infiltration, danger, and stealth, while its movement can be divided into walking, crouching, and crawling. The same philosophy can also be seen in Death Stranding, where your Odradek scanning device visualizes terrain danger levels in 3 different colors. Death Stranding 2 follows the same rules. Just like in the original Death Stranding, once again the player has to manage cargo weight and balance while traversing unstable natural terrain. Footing must be secured on slopes while the center of gravity must be controlled to avoid being swept away in rapid water streams. The risk of cargo damage is present throughout the process, which makes traversing the world itself a nerve-wracking task. Constructions such as ropes and ladders can be used to traverse the world more conveniently. These infrastructures go beyond individual player experiences, as structures installed by other players are shared in the world by the social strands system. As you make use of ladders and bridges left by someone else, the solitary exercise of delivery gradually transforms into a more connected and social experience. In addition to highways, Death Stranding 2 allows the player to construct monorails too, which makes traversing its world a lot smoother. Highways and monorails require a lot of materials, forcing the player to utilize the game's mines to gather them. As a result, establishing trade routes has become more central to gameplay than it was in the first game. While traversing the world itself has become more convenient, environments have become more challenging in return. The width of rivers can double due to rainfall, and natural hazards such as earthquakes and sandstorms can occur. As a new feature, the time of day also changes
Wow,
in real
wow,
time,
wow.
which causes additional challenges for Sam. These natural elements interfere with player actions in various ways, such as footing collapsing due to flooding and earthquakes, or visibility worsening in sandstorms and nightfall. The sequel also boasts more room for customization. The Porter grade indicates Sam's current proficiency in a more direct way, while skill points can be used to enhance stats and obtain new abilities. You can specialize in either delivery, movement, or combat skills. This shows that once again, Kojima is utilizing 3 layers of gameplay in which the player can tackle the game's missions and obstacles.
RPG
While
элементы.
delivery, movement, and combat skills can all be customized, combat plays a greater role in Death Stranding 2. In the first game, combat was limited and functioned merely as a way to secure supplies or to make your way through bases. Death Stranding Director's Cut already added infiltration missions into mule bases, but Death Stranding 2 builds more varied stages and systemized combat in the open world, seemingly as an extension of that. New human enemy forces such as bandits and armed survivalists appear, and their bases are designed as stages with simple 3-dimensional structures. BTs, or creatures that appeared due to the Death Stranding phenomenon, also have new types. Larger BTs with stronger attacks make the combat more challenging than it was in the first game.
Ну да.
Combat has become more tactical as well. By throwing a speaking doll, called Dollman, you can observe the insides of bases from above to grasp enemy placement and movement lines. While close combat remains important, remote stealth attacks with the blood boomerang, precision shooting with sniper rifles, and utilizing assault rifles and grenade launchers give the player a multitude of new options.
Тентакли.
It's even possible to put down Sam's backpack, allowing for more agile and nimble movement by completely separating him from his cargo. Weight management directly connects to mobility, which greatly enhances tactical flexibility. Whether to engage in direct combat, choose stealth, or avoid combat altogether, freedom of approach has increased when compared to the first game.
Красиво.
You can refund your used skill points, welcoming trial and error to find the playstyle that suits you best.
Вау. Даже на
As
голову
partially
тентакли
revealed in
прицепили.
trailers, after a series of dramatic events, Sam will cooperate with Drawbridge, a civilian company established by Fragile. As the setting moves from Mexico to Australia, a new journey begins. A mobile base called DHV Magellan, named after the explorer Ferdinand Magellan who travelled around the world, functions as a hub for the player. As the name DHV Magellan suggests, the story steps into themes reminiscent of colonial domination. Furthermore, the rise of a private political organisation called APAC shows similarities with the PMC depicted in Metal Gear Solid 4. Since I haven't witnessed the story to its conclusion, it is too early to speculate on how these motifs will come to fruition in the full game. In Death Stranding, people were isolated and only porters traversed the dangerous outside world, which many noted seemed to foresee the COVID-19 pandemic. In Death Stranding 2, the APAC seems to resonate with recent movements of America's Doge. With such eerie points of convergence with reality, I can't help but feel that there is a significance worth noting in contemporary times regarding how connections will be redefined in Death Stranding 2. Of particular note is the presence of actor Luca Marinelli, who plays a mysterious man. Both Marinelli's acting ability and the presentation of scenes he appears in leave a strong impression. The mystery of who this man is and why he stands in Sam's way will have players speculating for sure. Marinelli and his character are just as captivating as Mads Mikkelsen's Cliff was in the first game. One concern I had during my 30 hours with the game was that I realized that the trailers contain content that delves quite deeply into the main story, to the extent that a lot of what happened throughout the game I was already somewhat aware of. Could it be that too much has been given away in the trailers? Or is there a big surprise awaiting players when Death Stranding 2's full picture is revealed? We can only eagerly await the game's June 26th release.
Стопудово сюрприза будет.
For
Это
more
же
on Death
Коджима.
Stranding 2 and everything else to do with games, keep it right here on IGN.
Ну что, игру недолго осталось ждать, она выходит 26 июня, прям после выхода Nintendo Switch 2. Это, конечно, интересно, но я в первую очередь буду играть Death Stranding 2. Тут как бы без вопросов. Я очень жду. А вы что? Как вам там? Нравится такое, не нравится? Может быть, вам не нравится? Вы считаете это симулятор ходьбы, например? Я лично тащусь. Для меня Death Stranding первая — это особенная игра. Я делал по этому видео, кстати. Ссылку поставлю в описании. Для меня это особенная игра. Я жду не дождусь второй. Первая игра на выходе выглядела прям шикарно, очень красиво. вторая тоже вот выглядит по трейлерам просто бомбически. Очень мне нравится. Death Stranding использует движок Decima. Это движок, который использует Horizon игры от Sony. Очень красиво получается. У них там все очень реалистично, на мой взгляд. Вау. Я жду не дождусь. Самое интересное, что Кодзима, если он что-то показал в трейлере, то в игре будет по-другому. Не совсем по-другому, но он как бы это сказать, он не все показывает. Там что-то он придерживает. Что ты думаешь, что это одно, а выходит, что другое. Как вот, например, когда он делал трейлер к этому, к Metal Gear Solid 2, всегда показывали Solid Snake, а играл ты по большему счету за другого персонажа. Я думаю, тут тоже будет совсем какое-то что-то такое вау, что здесь происходит. Я, в принципе, после прохождения первой части, я до сих пор думаю, вау, что это было. Да, в общем, будет классно, я думаю. Если вам видео понравилось, ставьте лайк, подписывайтесь.